Hi guys, welcome back. Coach Garcia. We'll work the second half of the review. We'll just kind of jump around like before. I'll try my best to come back through and see if we can't get the ones that we missed. But for now, we'll just kind of jump through the last 45, and then we'll just kind of check to see if I have enough time to do the rest of them. All right, so first it says just describe the graph below. So anytime that you're describing something, you basically just want to look at your x value and your y value and look at what's happening. So on my x-axis, my x values, we have from AM to PM, so we're talking about time in the day, so this is time, and on the y-axis we're measuring our temperature. And I won't actually write anything down, but for this we can say something like temperature starts at, looks like around 40 degrees Fahrenheit. In the morning. As we go into the afternoon, it rises into sort of like the middle of the day. It keeps on rising right before it drops towards the end of the day. So you would write something like that, just kind of describing your graph. So in terms of time and temperature, you just want to write something down below describing your that your temperature rises before it falls, and again, time of the day. All right, number 48. It says use the table below to answer the questions 47 and 48. It says what is the range and what is the independent variable. So again, we want to use something called Dr. Idiot. So we come across, we do Dr. Idiot. Alright, so the way the Dr. Idiot works is I go 2 letters at a time. So I go DR, ID, IO, and then the T makes the T chart. These are my X values, these are my Y values. So this will be domain, that's range, this is independent, this is dependent, this is input, output. And again, that's just for you to keep all 6 of these in line. I know that all 3 of these are my X values, all 3 of these are my Y values. Again, it's something really, really easy for you to write down and just to keep track of everything. Alright, so first thing is my range. So they're basically asking me what are my Y values. If I look at this, so I have boxes of candy, cost in cents. So this on the top will be my X values. On the bottom will be my Y values. Alright, so my range, this time, the way that we would list out our range, since it's actually listed out sort of in pairs or in ordered pairs or points, we would actually just list out our range. So my range, I would open up with my brace. I would say Y such that. And then I would basically just list all of my Y values. So we start with 0, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, and 300. Close my brace and I'm done. So again, since it asked me for my range, it's basically just saying what is your Y values. Again, that's how you want to think about range. What are your Y values? My Y values are as follows. What is the independent variable? So again, independent is right there. That stands for my X. So my independent variable, and again, variable just means what is the thing that's changing. In this case, it's going to be what are the things that we're talking about. In this case, it's going to be boxes of candy. So my independent variable would be boxes of candy. Also known as my X values. And that's how we would answer both of those questions. Number 49, what is the coefficient of X? In a rule is also called the blank. This is going to be slope. The coefficient basically means what's the thing in front of X. So that would be like something like Y equals mx plus b. That would be my m, my coefficient, the thing in front of X. Number 50. On your calculator, to enter an equation, you start by pressing, again, an equation. Anytime you have an equation, you want to start off by pressing the y equals button. Alright, 51. 51 should be probably one of the easiest problems you'll get on the test. So it says for the line with the equation y equals 7x minus 3, the slope is blank. Again, if I list out my equation, so my slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, my slope is just the m, right? It's just whatever letter is in, or whatever number is in front of my x. In this case, it's 7. So my simple answer is just slope equals 7, and that's it. Or you can say m equals 7, or just any other way that you can think about writing slope. Basically, it's just that. It's just what's the number in front of x. In this case, it's 7. Alright, I guess we'll go ahead and do one solving one. So we'll go ahead and do 53, which is solving for y. So basically, as I look at my equation, the very first thing that I want to do is I want to draw my line down my equal sign. In this case, I'm solving for y. Yes, I have two different y's. The very first thing that I need to get rid of is going to be these parentheses. So what I have to distribute, the negative. And really, you don't see it, and you'll never see it in algebra, but we have to understand that there's an understood -1 there. And so that's what I'm multiplying. -1 times 5y, which would give me -5y. -1 times 6, which would give me -6. And then everything else comes down, everything else that I didn't use or touch. So this would be the 3y and the -10. They come down. Alright, next, and some of us will be pretty hesitant or pretty ready to say, okay, -3y and move it to the other side. Here's why we draw the line down our equal sign, so that we can keep our two sides separated. Since my -5y and my 3y are on the same side of my line, or same side of my equal sign, I don't have to move them, I just put them together. So I just basically add those two things together. So this would be 3y minus 5y, which would give me -2y. And then again, I like to work my problems one step at a time, so I bring everything else down. -2y minus 6 equal to -10. So as you can see, I haven't touched the -10 at all, so it just keeps coming down, coming down, coming down. Now that I'm at the -2y, now I can box that in. The reason that I box things in is it helps me identify what I'm solving for. Whatever isn't in my box, that's the thing that I have to get rid of. So in this case, it's going to be -6. The way that I get rid of -6 is going to be +6 on both sides. My +6 and my -6, that creates a 0 pair, and that cancels out. -10 plus 6 is going to give me -4. So now I have -4 equals -2y. And my last step is going to be to divide by -2. I'm going to take my step over here since I don't have enough space for it. So -2y equal to -4. My last step is to divide by -2. If I divide by that -2, my negatives will cancel out. My 2 over 2 will reduce to 1. I'm left with just the y. So we have y equals, whenever I type that into my calculator, I get 2. So my equation is, or sorry, my solution for y is just y equals 2. Remember that you can always plug it back in. So if we plug this back in, we should get -10. So that would be 3 times 2 minus 5 times 2 plus 6. So if I plug in the 2 in where I see the y's, if I simplified this expression, I should get -10. Alright, 55. It says the decoration company charges a design fee for $50 plus $5 per strand of holiday lights. How many strands of holiday lights did they use if the client's total bill was $175? Alright, so the very first thing that we have to do is we have to write an equation. So it says decorating company charges a design fee, and usually fees are a one-time thing. So a one-time fee of $50 plus $5, so there's another one of my money values, per, and then the per should give it away that that's going to be my X value. So $5 per strand of holiday lights. And then we'll get to this second sentence here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and write out our equation for this. So this would be y equals the $50, which we have to start off by paying. So I pay the $50 first. and then plus the $5 per, so plus 5x. Alright, so there's my equation, and then it says how many strands of lights did they use if the client's bill was a total of 175. So again, the total of 175, that basically goes in for my y. So again, this is the equation to find my total. If they tell me, hey, your total is 175, then all I do is just plug that in. So I'm going to go ahead and work it over here on the side where I have a little bit more space. So that's 175 equal to 50 plus 5x. And then I basically just go in and solve for x. If I solve for x, then I can figure out how many strands of holiday lights, because again, the x stands for the number of holiday lights. So this is going to be actually a pretty easy one. So we box in our 5x. I want to do minus 50 on both sides. Again, my 50s cancel. 175 minus 50 is going to be 125 equal to 5x. Again, my 5x comes down. And then my last step is going to be to divide by 5. So if I divide that by 5, looks like 125 divided by 5 is going to give me 25. Again, my 5 and my 5 on this side cancel. 25 divided by 5 is going to give me 25. Alright, 56. The horizontal axis in a coordinate plane is the blank. So basically this is just asking you in your axis or in your grid, the line that's going horizontal, which if you want to think about the horizon, like where the sun rises, it will be a line, the line that looks like that, the line that's flat. That one is what line? So we would basically just say, okay, that line, this is the line they're talking about. So what is that line called? And that's called my x-axis. And that's basically it for 56. We'll jump to 60 and 61. So it says use the graph below to answer the questions. Point C is in quadrant blank. So your quadrants, hold on, I'm running out of time.